now it's time to go into our winners of the 2025 Australian Open. So my first winner has to be 22-year-old Ben Shelton. Makes the semifinals, and he is now number 13 in the world. He flashed his potential. I thought he competed one of the best, maybe next to Holger, against Sinner. And it's hard for him to complain. Yes, he kind of blew his chance to close that first set against Sinner, but he also found himself in a situation where he had a set point on Sinner. Another day, he probably wins that set, and we look at that match completely different. But I think it's only up for Ben right now. I think he's proven he's going to be a star of the game, and now I think he's developing the tennis to back it up. So only good things. Do you agree with my Ben Shelton take?
Yeah, I think that him and Tommy Paul and Fritz are back in the same company, because last year, around this time, maybe a little bit later, it was like 12, 13, 14, that it was like, Fritz, Shelton, Paul.
Yeah,
You know what I
Tiafoe
mean?
was right there too.
And Tiafoe was barely behind them, and Korda was barely behind them. But, like, right now, it's like, okay, Paul has gotten to the top 10, and Fritz at number 4 is not going to last. Sorry. Unless he proves me wrong. I think that he's going to be outside of the top 10. Seriously, like,
I don't know about
I
that.
really think he's going to be outside the top 10 by the end of the year. Like, US Open, when it's done.
I could see that. I don't know.
Great if he
it depends.
prove me wrong.
It depends how bad he does at the US Open.
I think Shelton and Paul are just as good. As long as we have one or two Americans in the top 10, Fritz, nothing special from me.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's gonna face Cerundolo, and Cerundolo might beat him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no confidence in him.
And he just doesn't have that like killer mentality to live up to the moment like Ben does. Like Ben is not afraid of the pressure points. Like that's when he plays his best. That's when he goes for it. I thought he probably could have taken a little bit more risk against Yannick, but I'm okay with him not doing that because he flashed the improvements he's been working on in his game, and I think Ben kind of established himself as like the future of men's tennis. Tommy Paul's right there. He's close. He cracked the top 10, like you said. Almost that close to a semifinal if he did a little bit better against Zverev. But, I mean, Shelton on a hard court, I think he's only going to get better on grass. I think he probably has a lot more work to do on clay, but he shows up for Grand Slams, and those are the biggest stages in the game right now. So it's hard not to say that Ben's a winner here. Who's your first winner?
First winner is Thomas Mahach.
Okay.
Because he beat Opelka in the second round, which Opelka beating Djokovic at that, what was it, Adelaide?
Yeah, the lead up tournament.
Took Djokovic out. Legit. Yeah, Mahach took that out in 5 sets. Of course, Mahach, grain of salt, he beat our boy Sumit Nagal in the first round.
Yeah, I thought
bit of a gut punch there for the double fault pod.
Yeah.
But, no, seriously, Match is showing top 20 potential.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's in the right spot if he's around 16. Like, who's he going to push? He got daddied by Djokovic, for sure.
If you look at the scoreline, it says that, but if you watch, like, the highlights back, like, the point quality was insane. Like, I think that was that was part of the reason, like, Djokovic broke down physically, is because Mahach gave him such a test, grueling rallies, and then Lehechka, grueling rallies, Carlos, grueling rallies. It's like, it's tough to have such physical matches back to back to back to back and then expect to do it again. Djokovic, unfortunately, his body took down, but yeah, I agree with you. I think Mahach, I think we see him in the top 20 this year. He's got that kind of tennis. For my next winner, it's hard not to say 19-year-old learner Tien. He took down Medvedev, insane 5-setter, somehow outlasted him physically. I watched that during jury duty. Only 19, and then and then he backed that up, made the fourth round, and then didn't have the physicality to get even deeper. But he's now
The
seven.
round of 16,
And I always call it the
the
fourth round.
first time that people play the Australian Open, usually you don't make the round of 16, so
Yeah, exactly.
good for him,
And
man.
now he's 79 in the world. He's only 19. Like he could be crack. He's gonna be pushing top 50 soon. I think he's got that quality. And he was like the first one that's like the next gen's here. They started backing him up results. And I thought, Daniil Medvedev, he's coming off of defending last year's final points, and Tien takes him out in five. Like, come on, that was ridiculous. So
Medvedev's big on my losers. He's on my losers, and I'll explain why. But
exactly, yeah, we'll get to that.
later.
But who's your next winner?
I like Fokina,
Okay,
ADF,
yeah,
ADF. I think that he really proved himself that he does belong with the top 30 company. Not, he's been between 40 and 60 this whole year.
yeah, that was an impressive win he
Um,
had against Felix, being able to overcome that, coming back from 2 sets to love. He did the same thing against Mensik, coming back from 2 sets to love. Like those are two big servers.
Crazy.
You think those are two big servers that would have an advantage on a fast hard court, but Fokina somehow got through those. And I feel like he'd always like crack sometimes in the biggest moments. Like he could lose to anyone, he could beat anyone, but those are definitely impressive wins. It's kind of a bummer that his body gave out against Tommy, because I would have gave him a real shot the way he was playing up until that.
Yep.
I like that pick a lot. I think he definitely goes up in the rankings because he had a pretty rough year last year. So I think he's going to
hmm
assert himself right back in the conversation for like top 40 minimum.
No, top 30.
Yeah, I could see it.
ADF, he's taken one of those. I know there's only so many spots, but he was playing top 20 tennis.
Yeah, he was.
So he's going to be right up there with the top 25, let's say.
Yeah, I could see top
Let's
30.
see.
Top 30, especially on a clay court, too. But
Yep.
okay, so my next winner, 20-year-old Alex Michelsen. Massive first round upset over Stefanos, kind of put him on the map. And then he backed it up in the third round against Hachinov. He's up to a career high 36 in the rankings, pretty high for the highest of the next gen guys besides Feast. He didn't, a little disappointing fourth round loss to Demon, but, I think it was an impressive run just to get there. I think Demon was a little bit too much for him. But, I
Yep.
mean, he's another next gen guy that beat those maybe lost generation of 26 to 28-year-olds. But I think,
Yeah, well, I'd say very impressive that he got two top 20 wins.
yeah,
Tsitsipas was what, 11 seed, and Hachinov was the 19 seed. Beat them, got another win. I forget who. Yeah, Demon was just too much for him.
yeah,
It makes perfect sense. Like there's levels, right? Demon top 10 player. Mickelson's not there yet, but he showed that he's top 20.
oh,
He's going to
yeah.
give these guys a problem.
I think he's going to be really
You know?
dangerous on grass. I think he's going to be a top 20 player easily on hard court. I think it's a little unknown on clay, but I think I like Mickelsen's intangibles. I like his tennis IQ and how he plays, and this big serve and the length and the defense and the backhand. I mean, he's a complete player. Definitely a lot of big
He
things.
he should be a seed
Oh yeah,
next. Yeah, let's say probably French Open, but at least U.S. Open. He's gonna be top 32.
yeah,
Mickelson.
definitely.
It's a bit more unknown with the other, like Tien, Opelka, where these guys are gonna land.
Yeah, I think Korda too. Korda's like 22. Tiafoe might go down. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Mickelson can catch those guys in the American race. Get ranked like third or fourth best American at only 20 years old. Like he has the talent to pass those guys up, and I really liked what I saw this Australian Open. I think he's only going to get better. But do you want to
Right.
do another winner for you?
Let's go with Vukic.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah, I think he was actually very successful this tournament. Barely lost in a five-setter to, who's it, Runa?
Draper.
Oh, to Draper. Made the third rounds, but he's an young Australian guy that's been, kind of similar. Like Popperin, definitely a loser
Oh yeah.
this tournament, but he's going to be around for another 10 years. Popperin's top 25. A lot of potential. Vukic is kind of a similar big serve player,
Strong forehand.
but yeah, he hasn't quite like cracked the code yet, but Vukic can.
Yeah.
He has a lot of potential.
Especially in Australia, he's like not a guy you want to play in the first couple rounds. It's like he might be a player that people don't really know that well, but he's got a good game and can hang a little bit with these big boys. So definitely,
Yeah,
I
so
like.
let's see if Vukic can get into the top 30 conversation.
Yeah,
There's only so many people, right? But
yeah,
he could. He's in there.
definitely. Let's do two more each, real quick. I think we already touched on him. I had another winner of Tommy Paul. I think disappointing quarterfinal loss to Zverev, considering he could have served out the first and the second set, or at least had a chance to serve that out. But I thought even with that loss, he flashed the potential to be deserving of that top 10 spot. Like he can hang with these top guys. His serve is getting more effective. He hits it very accurately. He's got the rally tolerance. He's got the fitness. Now it's just like being used to the moments, overcoming, nerves, learning how to play your best tennis on the biggest stage. And he was right there with Sasha. And we could be looking at a world where if he beats Zverev, then he has like a hurt Djokovic in the next round. We could have seen Tommy Paul in the finals. Like he was right there. So I think even though
That's a good point.
he couldn't get over Zverev, I think that's like a big win for Tommy. And number 9 in the world, I think he can go even higher. I wouldn't be surprised because he's also an all court player. Like he can hang on every surface. Like he's got a real shot to
Mhm.
get a spot in Turin at the end of the year. So I love rooting for Tommy.
Let's see it.
I like it.
I like Tommy over Fritz. I like Fritz dropping near the outside of the top 10, maybe outside the top 10. Tommy might take the 6 or 7 spot.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
Medvedev has some serious work to do.
Yeah,
But yeah.
definitely.
Anyway.
Okay.
No, we're in the winners. We're in the winners
Yeah,
section.
a
I
couple
got you.
more
I got
winners.
you.
What's your next
I have
one?
I have one more. Sonego.
Oh, definitely.
Can't overlook that run that he
Yeah,
had. Was it lucky? Kind of. But he's like, our age. And been, looking at the top of the game for a while. There's some things that he doesn't do as well as, let's say, Sinner. Right? He practices with Sinner all the time.
yeah,
Or, Italian. It seemed like he put it together this tournament, like more than he ever has in the
yeah.
last bunch of years. So is he gonna all of a sudden be a seed?
He's now
Is
number
he
30.
gonna crack into the top 20? I
He's
don't know.
he's 34 in the world right now. He didn't play any like super high ranked players, but I mean, the draw's the draw. Like he beat everyone in front of him. He had a good chance against Shelton. He took down Marzan, like impressive scalps, especially. And you're right, he's like a journeyman guy. You never know when you're going to have your run, your moment, and he took advantage of it. And yeah, I like definitely a winner. That's a huge, impressive run. But who Sonego took down in the second round is who I have as my last winner. 18-year-old Brazilian star Joao Fonseca.
Yeah.
How can you not? I think this is the perfect guy to end the winners section on off of, because how do you not say this kid is a winner? Because he is now on the map. He's on everyone's radar. He's got the star power or the potential to be a future face of the sport. A massive win over Rublev, where we all said after that match, like Rublev didn't play poorly. That was Fonseca winning the match or taking the match. And then I think now, like you said, Sonego backing up that impressive run, like that loss for Fonseca doesn't really look as bad when Sonego finds himself in the quarterfinals. So, like, if you want to play that transitive property game, like if Fonseca gets over that, do we find him later? Um, I think even with like some of the next gen guys that went farther in the tournament than him, like Tien, like Mickelson, I think Fonseca just proved he's got that a high elite potential, and now he's in the top 100. I think he's number 99 in the world, and I think he only goes up from there. And if he's not top 50 by the end of the year, I would be shocked. I think that's kind of the expectations we have for him.
You know what's crazy is looking at like the optics, like what we saw, Fonseca the most visually impressive, but Mensik actually, Casper Ruud is still ahead of Djokovic in the rankings. He's number 6.
Yeah,
So Mensik beat Ruud, and also at the time Medvedev was the number 5 seed, and Lerner Tien beat Medvedev.
yeah,
So technically, yeah, what Fonseca did, he wasn't the most impressive of the next gen, you know. But in a way, for us, I think he was. I
yeah.
think that, he just blew through uh, the field at the next gen finals for a good reason. He's just
Yeah, it's tough to put those other guys over him
next level.
after he just beat them in the next gen, you know. So
Exactly.
and he yeah
And I think that Fonseca will be a seed, which is crazy. US Open, I think he'll be like in the 20s. Like he'll be like between 20 and 30. Or
it,
maybe even higher, who knows? But like it's not supposed to be that easy to get through the top 100 players
I
on the
know,
ATP Tour, but I
seriously.
really see Fonseca having a bit more of a meteoric rise than, let's say, Tien or Mensik has been doing it for a while. He's probably going to be a seed.
Yeah,
Feast, Arthur Feast already a seed. Mickelson will be,
yeah,
right? Mickelson will be a seed.
yeah. I don't want to go
And
too
that's like
crazy with Fonseca. I think if he's top 50 by the end of the year, that's a win because he's only 18. You know, if he's, I think
top 50 is a win, but I don't know, man.
because he's gonna be
I think he
he's
could
gonna
do
be
it.
so good on clay too. Like his spin and everything is gonna be so lethal.
It
I'm
is so good.
exciting stuff for him.
If he makes the semis of the French Open, he's not gonna be 50, He's
Well,
gonna be
yeah,
all the way up. So
that would be incredible if he did that. I think he's gonna have like
that's what I'm thinking is I think he might have a crazy Grand Slam result this
I
year.
I could see at like a 1,000 he goes to like a semifinal, like one of those, like just sneaks up on
Well,
everyone.
definitely.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
I'm excited.
Definitely at least one, but like he's this close to doing that at a slam.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure. I agree. And
yeah.
I think all the
Let's
next
see.
gen guys are winners, like we just said. But unfortunately, we're going to have to go into some of our losers of the 2025 Australian Open.